Okay guys, hi!
What's up?
We're live. I'm live here in Mumbai finally with Team Zuban. I'm joined by Vicky Kaushan ji.
Anji.
Welcome ji.
Thank you ji.
And the very beautiful Sarah Jane guys. And we are here to talk about all things Zuban. So Sarah, from being a VJ to being Miss India to being in lots and lots of movies, especially this Angry Indian Goddess, by the way. We didn't get to see that in the UK, but I had crazy stuff about that, so congratulations. Congratulations on the San as well, by the way. And now, tell us about Zuban. What's the story about?
Well, it's about, to put it shortly, it's about a boy who loses his faith in all things creative and in his spirituality and everything because of something that he goes through. And how he sort of, let's say, finds his way back through music. And I represent music in the film. No pressure. But yeah, that's the vague outline of the film.
Okay, so Vicky, you have very recently received these crazy praises for Masan. And awards, yes, lots of awards that we've been seeing. Are you a little bit overwhelmed, or like what's the situation in the mind?
I'm very overwhelmed. I mean, I haven't experienced this kind of love ever, before. I think 2015 was the best year of my life. And that was because of Masan, and yes, it feels good. I mean, the industry has accepted me in a beautiful way, and I've been getting interesting offers and meeting interesting people, so it's been good.
So tell us about your character in Zuban.
In Zuban, my character's name is Dilsher, and as she mentioned, Sarah mentioned that he loses faith in all things creative, in music, or faith in spirituality, and in God or whatever, he loses them and he goes behind materialistic things in life in order to become somebody big or achieve something. But during this journey, he realizes what he really is and how he rediscovers himself through music. That's the shit.
So there's this whole fear of music and you guys being creative people itself, you're from musical background and stuff. How challenging were these roles for you guys? Because I don't know, I've never heard of anybody having a fear of music.
Exactly.
I find that very weird.
Exactly.
I find that so weird.
Exactly.
So when I heard about it and now that you're telling me about it, I just still find it so hard to believe. How can somebody have a fear of music?
Exactly. I mean, that was my first step to understand the character. And because I am personally very much connected to music. I can't live without music. That's the way I connect with life. So understanding a person who's running away from music, hating music, has a phobia from music, I couldn't get it. So I used to have long discussions with Moses when I got the part, and I tried to understand his vision about the character, his mindset about what kind of complexities he wants from the character. So that was the beginning of it, and slowly I got the hang of it.
You've got two different looks in the movie.
Yes.
What's that all about? Why two different looks?
I am playing a Sardar in the film, so I have the look of a Sardar, the shade. But as I said, he loses faith in the spirituality and everything, and he becomes Munna. And he goes to Delhi to become somebody big and this and that. It's part of the narrative, so I can't actually go into the story of it. But yes, two looks.
Great. What's the point? No, I'm joking. So Sarah, what made you do this movie? Like when Moses said to you, Sarah, this is your
Moses
part.
didn't say to me.
Oh, he didn't say to you. Okay, what happened then? Tell us.
I got a call for an audition, as actors do, and it was a very brief description. They said she's a musician.
Yay! Check!
So I went in for the audition and I literally got a call about a day and a half later saying you've been cast. I was like, wait, what? How? What do you mean? Who? And then I met Moses. And then he told me about the film and he told me about Amira and how, what her characteristics were and what she represents in the film. And then I was like, aha, that's kind of like me. I get it.
Oh my god.
So,
Sorry.
Puppy.
We're live, these things happen
Puppy,
in Mumbai.
It's like, oh no, the scary puppy. Really? Anyway, so, where was I? Yes, it's gone now.
Amira.
She's like,
pretend it's gone. Focus, Anushka, focus.
battle, and I'm like, focus. I'm telling a story.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Okay. Right, so Moses told me about this girl and she just seemed a lot like me. And he then later on, months later I found out that when he was auditioning for the character, he was actually quite specifically told the casting director Mukesh Sabra that he wanted a musician preferably.
Okay.
So, it kind of just sort of happened. And I was the first person to be cast on the project. And then they went on this wild goose chase to find something that was, I think, sitting right under the noses the whole time.
Oh my god.
And it was just amazing. I remember it being really magical because I was finding out about the music and about the script, and it was like, wow, this girl really is the personification of music. And as a musician,
Yeah.
it's such a huge dream come true to be able to play a musician and act
Wow.
in the same film, and it's just
Oh, that sounds amazing. So Moses is a first-time director in this movie. What's he like to work with?
Moses, not as a director, as a human being, he is one of the most passionate persons I've ever met.
Yeah.
Very, very passionate, very hardworking, and very grounded. Very grounded. If he sets his eyes on something,
That's
he
it.
will get it. He will get it. And
That's
I've
insane.
learned so much from him. Like we've had these mad shooting days when we used to come back to our hotel up on the 26th hour, 25th hour. So we were shooting straight for like 22 hours. And the only thing driving the entire set was the energy of Moses.
No way.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I was like, what are you on? Like, it's like 9 o'clock in the morning. We've been here since 6 the previous day. I'm not like exaggerating, okay? I got to set at 5. I was ready at 6. And at 9 a.m. we were still 3 hours away. Remember Stepwell?
Yeah.
We were still 3 hours away from finishing. And Moses looked like he had just had a shower,
He just
taken
brushed,
a nap, done a little
And
touch-up.
this was Moses' birthday.
And
What
this
we are
was
talking
Moses'
about?
birthday.
Moses' birthday.
And it's really funny. I'll tell you a quick story. So we planned a surprise. We got him a cake. No one wished him the whole day. And, maybe sort of made it seem like whatever.
Yeah.
And then when it was about to sort of, I think, be 12 or I think just before dinner, someone shouted on the other side of camera and Moses of course panicked. And then they claimed that there was something wrong with the lens. And you could see Moses' heart sinking, but trying not to because we had to get him to the other side where the cake was.
Yeah.
And he finally came around, he saw the cake, he's like, oh, right. And then
Everything's okay.
Everything's okay.
Yeah.
It's a cake. And then the minute we cut it, he's like, okay, can we get back to shoot now?
Oh my god.
And I'm like, really? Come on.
Moses, just enjoy your birthday.
But only someone like Moses is like that. He's very, he's so grounded that if you compliment him or give him a gift or anything, he's always like kind of shy and and that's amazing considering that he's one of the most well-read, well-spoken, articulate, eloquent, well-dressed men I have ever met in my life. Honestly.
And this film is really close to him. It's
Yeah.
like, from what the videos and stuff that I've seen, especially some of the stuff that he said at the trailer launch, this film is very, very close to
Really
him.
close to it. Really close to it.
That's amazing. Okay, so this film was at the Busan Film Festival.
Yes.
How was that? That's amazing. That's like really big.
So Zuban had this honor which no other Hindi film had. That Zuban opened the Busan Film Festival.
Yeah.
In 20 years of Busan Film Festival, this
That's
was the
amazing.
first Hindi commercial film to get that honor, which was absolutely fantastic and unbelievable. Because we couldn't believe it. The first thing we asked them after reaching there was like, why?
Why? Yeah.
Why? What did you see of it? And that's when they said, your film has got a healing power, which
Oh my
really,
God.
really, we were like, wow.
The head of
because-
the film festival was
because-
fully Korean and does not really speak a word of Hindi.
Yeah.
Said that.
Because that was the germ with which Moses had started thinking about the film. And the first comment, the first feedback that we got was exactly that. That was a great model.
Yeah, that's huge. Of course it is. Of course. Now you said that this movie is about like how one loses hope and faith and courage and stuff. Has there ever been at any point in your life where you felt like that and you just kind of
Many times, and I'm an
felt
artist.
like
I'm
that?
an actor.
Well,
many
thanks.
times.
Try on that.
But no.
Many times, many
What
times.
happened? What
My-
happened and how did you overcome it?
My journey of being an actor has been for 5 or 6 years now, and I started off as an assistant director in Gangs of Wasapur, and then I joined theatre. I did theatre with Nasir sir, Manav Kaul, etc., etc. And I was giving auditions, knocking doors, meeting people. That I just need one opportunity. Let me give my test and this and that. So there were days when I used to be like, "Yaar, kuch ho nahi raha, what to do? What more can I do? But those are all very temporary because see, I'm an engineering graduate. I had an engineering job. My dad wanted me to pursue engineering, but I didn't go that side because I wanted to be an actor. So this was my decision, So every time coming back in the evening after failed auditions or no auditions or whatever, on the pressing day. So the night used to be horrible, but then again, morning 11 a.m.
Wake up.
Sir, can I come and meet you? Sir, I want to give an audition.
It just goes really on. Persistent.
Yes.
And you just have to want it, right?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. You just have to. You have to be stubborn.
Yeah.
You have to be stubborn, and you have to go like full attack mode.
Yeah. And what about you, Sarah?
I've been for hundreds of auditions. Hundreds. When I first came to Bombay, my mom and I used to get on the train and go from Taylor Studios to this side of town in a day and do like 5 auditions, by train, because she refused to. I grew up in the Middle East, so she refused to let me travel on my own initially, and thank God for her, because I remember walking into rooms and being like, "Ma, where am I?" Because I was there in my little tennis skirt and like no makeup, and I'm like, okay, not like on. But you learn and you see and you grow, and you learn and you see and you grow, and you learn and you see and you grow, and it goes on and on and on and on until it becomes second nature. Until no matter what rejection comes your way, you're like, fine, it's okay. So now I think I heard you say this also. Anyway, I give the audition and I forget about it. Because you don't. It's like imagine interviewing for 5 jobs every single day, right? For months on end. And not hearing why you don't get it.
Yeah.
And then seeing your final product on screen and going, oh, she got it.
Yeah.
And your heart just
your heart sinks, man. Your heart sinks.
And it still does happen sometimes, because I have a few friends in the industry, and you're sitting next to someone and be like, oh my god, what's your next project? And they say the name of the project that you auditioned for, but you didn't find out that they cast somebody else. So things like this happen, and you kind of just grow like a thicker and a thicker and a thicker skin, and then you also have to sort of struggle with holding on to where you came from and your warmth and your reality and all of that. So it's tough, but hey, everyone's job is tough, and I love what I do for it.
Also, it's important to realize that that one opportunity that you're looking for is just a phone call away.
Yeah.
It's your job to just be there at the right place at the right time. So for that, you have to
and give it
you
your
can't sit at home and expect that to happen.
And there's one thing that I've learned from working with him is that Vicky, and it's very rare to see this, Vicky shows up every day to work like it's the first day of his life. It's like he's just like present. And it's over, next day present. There's no like yesterday, tomorrow, 1 hour, I'm here. What do you need me to do? And that, in the long run, really pays off. I mean, of course, it pays off now as well, clearly. But in the long run, it's that attitude that keeps you going. And I feel like that too, but it's really difficult for me to do it every single day. And when I watch him, it kind of, I'm like, okay, yes,
yes, motivation.
He can do it, so can I, okay.
I love it too.
Yes, I know.
Oh, बहुत तारीफ हो गई आज. Okay, Vicky, you're stammering in this movie.
Yes.
So was it not weird when you have to learn how to stammer? It's like reverse.
It was.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how did that all happen? Because you did it pretty well in the trailer.
Thank you. So me and Moses used to visit Dr. Ajit in Pune. He was a speech therapist, and so we used to sit through his sessions. And I used to interact with the patients over there, and these patients were like 20 to 25-year-olds, full of insecurity, full of inferiority complex about stammering, and so I discussed my personal life with them. I discussed Dilsher with them, the story with them, and slowly, we got into like this personal space of each other. And that's when they started opening up, as to how they feel about stammering, when they stammer, how they stammer. So every individual stammers in a different way. And there are a lot of technicalities that I came to know of stammering. Was that a person who stutters always stutters on specific sounds. It's not just random stuttering. It'll be either on an H or on the sound of M or G. So if I stutter on S, proper nouns are are like the biggest fear. Enemy. Because if I have to say Sarah, I can't refer to her by any other name, and I stutter on S. So I'll always, in that anticipation, I'll end up stuttering Sarah. You know, I'll always end up doing that. Because for Sunday, I can say it's day after Saturday.
Yeah. There's other options.
Yeah, but with a name, I can't. So all those things, and also, you know, the character of Dilsher started stuttering because of an emotional trauma in his life.
Okay.
So it's not that he stammers since birth.
Since birth, right.
It's because of some incident. It's coming from an emotional backing. So you know, so whenever that episode arises, he stammers even more. Or you know, if he's on a phone call, he'll stammer less because he's not under pressure that somebody's watching me, you know, while I'm talking. So all these technicalities I came to know of, and then we had intense reading sessions with doctor himself. Because see, the thing is, the story is not about a person who stammers. There are many other complexities, and the story is about them.
Yeah.
You know, so we had to make sure that the stammering is so fluent that people forget that okay, the story is not about
the stammering.
It's about other things. You know, so it had to be very fluent. So we sat through these reading sessions with doctor, and the other thing that happened was because it was my first one that I was shooting. I was so into it that I was stammering when I was with my family. I was just stammering all the time because I wanted to get it right. And that's when the doctor said, you can actually start stuttering naturally because you're doing it so regularly. Because people pick up stutter, and it actually kind of happened in between. And that's when I had to, push the brakes. Just control.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so by the way, inside we were just shown exclusively the new Punjabi song.
Oh, you saw it?
I saw it.
Oh.
I love the Punjabi look on you both. It looks amazing, and the pink and the orange.
She doesn't want me though.
Yeah.
I guess.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, I was.
That's my
Vicky
view.
was like looking.
That's my view.
No, really, really, really good. Loved it. And then we've also seen the Music Is My Art song as well. So. What? I don't know if there's any other songs in it, but talk to me about the music.
No?
Really?
14, right?
Ooh.
We have 14 songs on the album.
Nice. Okay, so tell me about the music. The rest of the other songs that we haven't seen yet.
Okay, so the others, there's this beautiful love. Wait, let me tell you who made the music.
Yeah, go for it.
Ashu Pathak made the music, and he is apart from being this amazingly amazing human being, he also runs a school which was actually one of the very sort of pioneer schools in the country. It's called the True School of Music. I actually went there in my preparation for Amira. I did a 3-month course in vocals. And Ashu and Moses is also very well versed with music. So he had his, I want this,
Moses knows.
And he goes to Ashu. Actually, maybe he should tell you the story. Basically, they have every single genre on that album. So we've got this lovely sort of, got this old time disco kind of vibe. I'm forgetting her name right now. Nazia Hassan kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And then we've got what you've heard is the Punjabi song, which is like a Punjabi rock song.
Yeah.
Then we've got an R&B Qawwali song.
Ooh.
And the R&B Qawwali is
that sounds amazing. Wow.
And we have a full-on love ballad with Japanese string instruments.
What?
Yeah, and there's a little snippet of it in the video of me in my finery, and the twins actually are in the music video.
Woo!
So it's huge. I mean, when I was being told all this information, my eyes kept getting like the size of saucers. So anyway, but leaving aside all the sort of the let's say the fancy side of the music and the fact that it's really cool, it's actually really deep and spiritual because it takes Dilsher's story to the level that the audience needs to go to believe his struggle. Because it really sort of it makes your hair stand at some point, especially when in a film, like a silent film doesn't really make you feel as much as a scene with music in it where let's say he's having a revelation and the background score and the songs just lend to that. And that is at every single junction of this film. At every single junction you feel that the music is making you feel things that the actor is portraying, and that's just, it's really difficult to do, honestly. And Moses and Ashu have, and of course mostly Ashu, have done it just so seamlessly. And for me to be able to be in, I'm a part out of all the music because all the songs.
Yeah, I'm sure you
And while it was grueling work, and because I have a different look in every song, I have different body language in every song, it's again a dream come true because as an actor who's also a performer, I now get it. You know, I now can do these things. And pull them off, and I've seen the film and I love the way it's looking, so pull them off successfully. So really hats off to Moses and Ashu.
Oh my god, I can't wait to hear the rest of the songs.
Oh my god,
watch them as well.
Outstanding.
There are also many Kirtans in there.
Yeah, there are many
Because Dilsher belongs to a family of Ragis who sing in the Gurdwara, and his father is a Ragi, so a lot of Kirtans also. And beautiful Kirtans.
Beautiful, sounds good. So waiting for the rest of the music. Now, this movie is all about the fear of music. I want to know Vicky, what your fear is in life.
In life, actually, I really had a bad phobia of deep water bodies. I really had that, and I had to dive into the Ganga for Masan, which was
You were afraid?
terrifying. I can't swim in like a deep swimming pool.
How did you do it?
I didn't know swimming before Masan. I didn't know how to swim.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, but then I trained myself. I actually enrolled myself to a swimming class before even reading the script of Masan.
But how did you get over the fear?
I have no clue. I just jumped from 10 feet and I
You know the
flew the
Ganga water
lifeguard.
is black, right?
And I had to swim in the night.
Oh, I know, I saw the scene.
Ganga, and in the middle of Ganga.
Because I saw the scene and I was like, my fear is the same. Sorry to interrupt
Yeah.
you.
No.
It's so I have a fear of, but my fear is not of I can swim, so it's not of drowning. It's of things in the water.
Okay.
And I've been on the Ganga in Varanasi, and there are things in that water. I can tell you, right? There are black dolphins in that water which eat flesh.
What?
Yeah.
What?
But
I've
dead
seen
flesh.
those dolphins.
Dead flesh.
Yeah.
Um,
It's supposed to be lucky.
They're supposed to. I saw one. It looks like a Loch Ness monster because you just see it like go like that in the water. And the
But
first
it's
time I
very
saw
rare
it,
to
I
spot a dolphin in Ganga.
freaked out because I was in the boat and it was right there. So, but anyway, having said that, I'll also get freaked out if this beautiful like anglerfish goes by me or something like that because I'm just afraid of it.
Oh god.
So, I've answered your question.
You've answered. Thank you.
I cannot believe you swam in the Ganga in the middle of the night in like deep water. I don't think you could pay me any amount of money to do that.
Okay, that's not happening. That is not happening. Okay, finally, tell us the release date of Zuban and tell us in 3 words why we should go and watch it.
Ooh.
4th of March 2016 is the release date of Zuban.
Yes.
And 3 words.
Yeah.
What?
Okay, we missed that. What was it? What was it? Do it. Bolo.
So the tagline of Zuban says, "Find your music."
Woo! Guys, go watch Zuban. Sarah and Vicky, thank you so much for the live Periscope. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.